Good evening, all of you. In the last session, we discussed about client server architecture. Web application will be running inside the server and clients are going to access that web application by using browser. Client will send a request to the server. Server will receive the request. Server will process that request, will send response to the client. As web application is running in the server, that server is available in a different location. For example, Gmail application. We don't know where is that Gmail server available, but we are able to access that Gmail application. Only one user is accessing the Gmail, or multiple users are accessing the Gmail, multiple users are accessing the Gmail application. That means multiple users can access the web application at a time. Now, let's understand that Gmail application running in one server. In this world, so many people are using the Gmail application to send the mails, to receive the mails and all. If all these people are using the Gmail application at a time, all these users' request will go to single server. If all the requests will go to single server, that single server is responsible to process those requests and send the response to the client. If multiple requests are coming, then burden will be increased on the server, or burden will not be increased on the server. Definitely burden will be increased on the server. If burden increased on the server, then what will happen? Server will take more time to process our request. Then if a client send a request, response will not come immediately because server is already busy in processing other requests. Server will be busy in processing other requests. So our request may take time to process. We will get the response so slowly. Responses will be delayed. If the traffic is keep on increasing, sometimes due to that overload, server will crash. Due to that overload, server will crash. These are the problems if you deploy the application in the single server. If you deploy the application in the single server, then burden will increase on the server, then server will crash, server cannot process our request, there is a chance of failure. This is single point of failure, single point of failure. If server is crashed, our application will run or our application will not run. If server got crashed, our application will run or our application will not run. Guys, tell me, if server got crashed, our application will run or our application will not run? Our application will not run. If our application is not running, that means business will be impacted or not. If application is not running, business will be impacted or not. Definitely, client business will be impacted if our application is not running. So now tell me, in the real time, projects will be running on one server or projects will be running on multiple servers? Projects will run on one server or projects will be running on multiple servers? Projects should run on multiple servers. Projects should run on multiple servers. Okay, now the process of running our application in multiple servers is called as load balancing. The process of running our application in multiple servers is called as load balancing. What we want to do is, if I run my application in one server, then burden will be increased on the server to process all the requests. Now, I want to decrease the load by distributing the traffic to multiple servers. Instead of running my application in one server, I will run my application in 4 servers. Instead of running my application in one server, I will run my application in 4 servers. Every server will have its own IP address. Every server will have its own IP address. If I have my own IP address for a server, can I give 4 URLs to the people to access my application? Facebook1.com, Facebook2.com, Facebook3.com, Facebook4.com. Can we give 4 URLs for our application, or we should give 1 URL for our application? Can we give 4 URLs for our application, or we should give 1 URL for our application? We should give 1 URL for our application. Okay, right. When 1 URL we want to give, we need to configure one more server called load balancer. Load balancer. Whenever a request comes from the user, it will be received by the load balancer. Load balancer will distribute the request to one server. First request will go to first server, second request will go to second server, third request will go to third server. Able to understand? The requests are going to be distributed. The requests are going to distributed for multiple servers. Load balancing will happen. The request will be distributed to multiple servers. Load balancer IP will be configured with the DNS name. So here, whatever the URL you are hitting in the browser, that is called DNS name of the load balancer. That is the DNS name of the load balancer. Got it? Right. Application will be deployed in the multiple servers to distribute the load. That concept is called load balancer. Now, let us take one scenario. Let us take one scenario use case. Let's take one real-time scenario to understand this load balancing. What are the challenges available in this load balancing use case? Flipkart application running in 10 servers. Flipkart application running in 10 servers. Flipkart application running in 10 servers because it is an e-commerce application. So many people are using Flipkart to purchase the products. Flipkart application running in 10 servers. Flipkart having 1 lakh RPM. Flipkart having 1 lakh RPM. RPM nothing but request per minute. 1 lakh people are using Flipkart in 1 minute. 1 lakh people are using Flipkart in 1 minute. That is average RPM for the Flipkart application. To handle 1 lakh requests per minute, Flipkart is having 10 servers cluster. Flipkart is having 10 servers cluster. Cluster nothing but load balancer, guys. Cluster nothing but load balancer. Now, here it is instance 1, instance 2, instance 2, instance 3, instance 4, and so on, instance 10. So like this, there are 10 instances available for the Flipkart. This is, I can say, server 1, server 2, server 1, server 2, server 3, and server 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, dot, dot. Inside this server also, application is running. In all servers, our application is running to handle 1 lakh requests per minute. That is the average traffic for the Flipkart application, guys. Within a minute, 1 lakh people are using Flipkart. Now, if 1 lakh requests will go to one server, will it become a burden for that server or not? If 1 lakh requests go to one server, will it become a burden or not? Come on, guys, tell me. If 1 lakh requests go to one server within a minute, will it become a burden for the server or it will not become a burden for the server? It will become burden for the server. Now, what we are going to do is, we are going to take one concept called load balancer concept. All these servers are going to connect with the load balancer. Why we are connecting these servers with the load balancer? Why we are connecting these servers with the load balancer? To distribute the load. Now, when users are accessing this application, the request will go to LBR. LBR is going to distribute the load to servers. How many servers are there for the Flipkart now? 10 servers are available. Let me take it as a server number 10. There are 10 servers are available for the Flipkart to run the application. There are 10 servers are available to run the Flipkart application. Now, this is user 1, user 2, user 3, like this. 1 lakh users are accessing Flipkart. That is the average RPM for the Flipkart. RPM nothing but request per minute. This setup is called as a cluster. What is this setup called as, guys? Some people will call it as a load balancer, or some people will call it as a cluster. Some people will call it as a load balancer. Some people will call it as a cluster. Are you able to understand? Are you able to understand? Some people will call it as a load balancer. Some people will call it as a cluster. Okay. Now, with this cluster, Flipkart is able to handle 1 lakh RPM with a 10 servers cluster. 10 servers, nothing but 10 nodes. One server is called as one node. With 10 nodes cluster, Flipkart able to handle 1 lakh RPM. With the 10 nodes cluster, Flipkart able to handle 1 lakh RPM. Flipkart is happy. Their business is running successfully. 1 lakh requests they are getting per minute. All the requests are processing as expected by the load balancing. Load is distributing to the multiple servers. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Now, after 2 days, there is a festival called Ugadi. It is like a new year for the Telugu people. All right, there is a Ugadi festival. For this Ugadi festival, Flipkart want to provide 50% offer on the products. It is called Big Billion Day. Do you know Big Billion Day in the Flipkart? Do you know Big Billion Day in the Flipkart? Guys, come on. Flipkart want to provide, Flipkart announced Big Billion Day on April 2nd. Flipkart announced Big Billion Day on April 2nd. Flipkart expecting 10 lakh RPM on April 2nd. Able to understand? Flipkart application is getting 1 lakh requests per minute. Shraddha, please concentrate. Right, Flipkart application is running. So many people are using the Flipkart application. The average traffic for the Flipkart per minute is 1 lakh. That is called as request per minute. Flipkart application receiving 1 lakh requests per minute. To handle 1 lakh requests per minute, Flipkart application running in 10 nodes cluster. 10 nodes, nothing but 10 servers. Flipkart application is running in the 10 servers. Server 1, server 2, server 3, server 10. Why we are running the application in the 10 servers? Shraddha asking this question. Why Flipkart application running in the 10 servers? If a Flipkart application runs in one server, that one server should handle 1 lakh requests per minute. That will become a burden on the server. To reduce that burden on the server, we are running Flipkart application in the 10 servers so that requests will be distributed to multiple servers. That is the reason we are running the application in 10 servers. That is called load balancing. That's fine. 1 lakh requests per minute, 10 nodes are available. Flipkart application working as expected. Clients are happy. Flipkart company is also happy. Business is running as expected. Now let's take another scenario. Flipkart announced Big Billion Day on April 2nd. There is a festival on April 2nd. Flipkart expecting 10 lakh RPM on April 2nd. Flipkart expecting 10 lakh requests on April 2nd. Big Billion Day on April 2nd. 50% offer on every product. 50% offer. Flipkart announced Big Billion Day on April 2nd. 50% offer. Flipkart expecting 10 lakh requests per minute on April 2nd. To handle 10 lakh requests per minute, to handle 10 lakh RPM, Flipkart has done 30 nodes cluster. Flipkart has done 30 nodes cluster setup. Why they have done 30 nodes cluster setup? 10 nodes cluster, 10 nodes cluster is having 1 lakh requests. So now they are expecting more requests. So that's why they have done 30 nodes cluster setup. That means why they are going for 30 nodes cluster setup, or let's assume that Flipkart is expecting 1 lakh requests per 10 instances. Now Flipkart is expecting 3 lakh RPM on April 2nd because 50% offer is available. For 1 lakh 10 cluster, for 2 lakh 20 cluster, for 3 lakh 30 cluster. 30 nodes are available for the Flipkart cluster now to handle the load on April 2nd. In the normal days, 1 lakh requests are coming for the Flipkart in the minute. They are assuming that on the April 2nd, we have a 50% offer now. So on the April 2nd, we may get 3 lakh requests in a minute. So to handle 1 lakh request in the minute, 10 nodes cluster is available. So to handle 3 lakh requests per minute, 30 nodes cluster is required. Are you able to understand my calculation? Guys, please respond in the chat. I want you to respond. Why Flipkart is going for 30 nodes cluster? Why Flipkart is going for 30 nodes cluster? Come on. Why Flipkart is going for 30 nodes cluster? To distribute the load. So they need to purchase 30 nodes, means 30 machines they need to purchase or not? 30 machines they need to purchase or not? Yes or no? 30 servers they need to purchase or not? They have to purchase 30 servers. They have to purchase 30 servers and they have to do all this setup with the 30 servers. They have to do all this setup with the 30 servers. Server 1, server 2, server 3 and so on. They have taken 30 nodes cluster. They have taken 30 nodes cluster. Why they have taken 30? Already they are having a 10 nodes. Why they increase it from 10 to 30? What is the reason? What is the reason? Can I say this is the reason? Underlined point. To handle more requests. Okay. To handle more requests. April 2nd morning, Big Billion Day started. April 2nd morning, Big Billion Day started. Big Billion Day started. 9 a.m. They have 1 lakh RPM. 9 a.m. they have 1 lakh RPM. So can Flipkart handle 1 lakh RPM with 30 nodes cluster? Yes, it can handle. It can handle. 9:30 a.m. They have 2.5 lakh RPM. They have 2.5 lakh RPM. So 2.5 lakh requests per minute. Can it be handled by 30 nodes cluster? Can it handled by 30 nodes cluster? 2.5 lakh requests per minute they are getting because of 50% offer. Yes or no, man? Please respond. It can handle. 10 a.m. They have 4.5 lakh RPM. Blast. Flipkart application will blast. Why? What is their capacity as of now? What is the Flipkart application capacity per minute with the 30 nodes cluster? What is the capacity of the Flipkart cluster, guys? 3 lakh requests per minute. But 10 o'clock, what happened? 10 o'clock, what happened? Whatever they have expected, they are getting more business than that. They expected 3 lakh requests per minute, but they are getting 4.5 lakh requests per minute. That means, can I say burden is increasing on the servers? In this scenario, can I say burden is increasing on the servers? Burden will increase on the servers. If a burden increases on the server, response will be delayed or not? application will become slow or not? Application will become slow. When you select one mobile, it will be keep on loading. After some time, it will say out of order, out of stock. So if the Flipkart application becoming slow, people will go to Amazon or not? Will you wait for the Flipkart to respond, or immediately you will go for Amazon? Amazon also having big billion day. Amazon, Flipkart are the competitors. When the Flipkart application is not responding, immediately you will go for the Amazon. That means Flipkart is losing the business or not? If the Flipkart application becomes slow, Flipkart application will lose the business. Flipkart application will lose the business. Now, if they don't want to lose the business, what they should do? Flipkart should increase the servers or not? 10 a.m. they have 4.5 lakh RPM. Increased cluster to 45 nodes. Increased cluster to 45 nodes. That means how many machines they are using to run the Flipkart application at the 10 o'clock? 45. They increased the cluster to 45 nodes. That means, can I say they have purchased 45 computers, 45 servers, 45 computers running 45 servers, Flipkart application running in the 45 servers to handle the load. Okay, now 10 o'clock they are getting 4.5 lakh requests per minute. So 30 servers are not sufficient. So they immediately purchased 15 more computers. They added 15 more computers to the LBR. So now finally the LBR is running with the 45 nodes. Finally, LBR is running with the 45 nodes. Purchasing the 45 nodes cluster is very costly. Is very costly, and it is a time consuming. Immediately, they should have highly skilled people to set up the cluster to add the servers. Okay, everything is fine. They increase it to 45 nodes. Flipkart business is running successfully. 10 o'clock, their cluster running with the 45 nodes. 10:15 a.m. breaking news. 10:15 a.m. breaking news. Central Minister met with accident. This is not a breaking news. Bollywood heroine met with accident. A Bollywood heroine met with accident. At 10:15 a.m. we got a breaking news. One Bollywood heroine met with accident. Immediately what will happen? Can you guess what will happen? Come on guys, what will happen? People will use the Flipkart or people will go to the media news channel. 10:20 a.m. Flipkart having 50k RPM. Drastical change. Within 5 minutes, completely business came down. The reason? People are interested. वो हीरोइन क्या किया, कैसे एक्सीडेंट हुआ, कहाँ एक्सीडेंट हुआ, कल रात वो कहाँ थी, दारू पी के सो गया क्या, वो दारू पी के ड्रिंक एंड ड्राइव कर रहा है क्या, हाउ दिस एक्सीडेंट हैपन, वो कार कैसे है, वो हीरोइन कौन सा हॉस्पिटल में गया, व्हाट इज हर हेल्थ कंडीशन, उसका बॉयफ्रेंड कहाँ है. People will think about all these things, na? People will watch the news. People are diverted from Flipkart Big Billion Day to social media news channels. So Flipkart application traffic reduced to 50,000 requests per minute. 50,000 requests per minute. These 50,000 people don't know about that news. The people who don't know about that news, they are still using the Flipkart. If they know that news, they will also go to the news channels. Now tell me, Now tell me, whatever the 45 nodes running, is there any use of the 45 nodes cluster now? Is there any use of the 45 nodes cluster for the Flipkart? We have to remove the nodes from the cluster. Flipkart should remove nodes from cluster. Flipkart should remove nodes from cluster because traffic is reduced. Because traffic reduced. Adding the nodes and removing the nodes to the server, adding the nodes and removing the nodes is difficult process. Adding nodes and removing nodes is difficult process. And it is costly. Operation. You have to purchase the servers. You have to add the server when the traffic is increasing. You have to remove the servers when the traffic is decreasing. Are you able to understand the use case which I have given now? First, Flipkart application running with 10 servers. With the 10 servers, they can handle 1 lakh requests per minute, 1 lakh RPM, 1 lakh requests per minute. Okay. With the 10 nodes cluster, Flipkart able to handle 1 lakh requests per minute. Guys, node means one server. One node means one server. It can call as a server. It can call as a node. It can call as an instance also. Flipkart announced Big Billion Day on the April 2nd with a 50% offer on the products. As there is a Big Billion Day on the April 2nd, Flipkart is expecting 3 lakh requests per minute on the April 2nd. For 1 lakh requests, they are using 10 servers. For 3 lakh requests, 10 into 3, they are going with 30 servers. Now, this is a load balancer with 30 nodes cluster. This is a load balancer with 30 nodes cluster. Okay, this is the Flipkart expectation. They have purchased 30 computers. They have done this setup. Finally, April 2nd came. Big Billion Day started. 9 o'clock. They have 1 lakh requests per minute. Okay, they are hoping that business will increase. Within half an hour, 2.5 lakh RPM came for the Flipkart. That means within a minute, they are receiving 2.5 lakh requests. To process 2 lakh 5 point requests, 30 servers are sufficient. Actually, our cluster can handle 3 lakh requests per minute. Here they are getting only 2.5 by 9:30 a.m. All of a sudden at the 10 o'clock, they got the 4.5 lakh requests. So our current cluster is sufficient. Current cluster is sufficient to handle 4.5 lakh requests? Not sufficient. That's why they increased 15 servers. That means they increased 15 nodes to the cluster. They added 15 nodes to the cluster. Finally, at 10 o'clock, Flipkart application running in the 45 servers. They purchased 45 computers. They purchased 45 servers. They deployed the application in the 45 servers and it is running. Flipkart company spent a lot of money to purchase 45 computers. Assume that every computer is 1 crore. Very high-end computers will be available. They spend 1 crore rupees for one computer. They purchased 45 computers. 45 crores they have spent for infrastructure. If they just purchase the computers, is it sufficient? They need to have the employees who are going to set up the cluster. They need to have a room to keep the servers. They should have a network. They should have a power. They should have a power backup. They should have an administrator. They should have a capable people to add the server, to remove the server. Lot of maintenance will be available. Okay, 45 crores they have spent for purchasing this infrastructure. Another 5 crores they have spent for AC, power, network, employees and all. So total they are spending 50 crores to run the cluster. They are spending 50 crores to run the cluster. Okay, up to 10 o'clock their business is success. 10 o'clock business is success. But 10:15 a.m. suddenly, unfortunately, a Bollywood heroine met with accident. For example, let's take a scenario. Or Modi ji announced Jambli elections, one country, one election. In all the states, election should happen at one time. Jambli election concept introduced by Modi at 10:15 a.m. Then what happened? Then what will happen? People will divert from the Flipkart to the news channels or not? People will divert. People mindset will divert from the Flipkart to news channels or not? People are diverted from news channels. People are diverted from the Flipkart to news channels. 4.5 lakh RPM suddenly reduced to 50,000. 50,000. Now, if we are getting 50,000 requests per minute, do we need to have the 45 nodes to run our application? Do we need to have 45 nodes to run our application? Not required. Already Flipkart purchased those computers. So can I say Flipkart money wasted? Can we say that Flipkart money wasted? They spent 50 crores for the infrastructure. Their money got wasted. Why? They have purchased softwares. They have purchased hardware. They have done the infrastructure setup. Their money got wasted. Their money got wasted. Okay. Okay. Here can we say adding the nodes and removing the nodes is a difficult process, and can I say it is a costly operation? Adding the nodes, removing the nodes is a difficult process and costly operation. To overcome this problem, we will go for cloud computing. To overcome this problem, we will use cloud computing. To overcome this problem, we will use cloud computing. If we go for cloud computing, we no need to purchase the servers. If we go for cloud computing, we can use resources on demand basis with pay as you go model. If we go for cloud computing, we can use resources on demand basis with pay as you go model. How much you use, that much you have to pay. How much you use, that much you have to pay. Every cloud provider having auto scaling option. Every cloud provider having auto scaling option. Every cloud provider having auto scaling option. When the traffic is, if we auto scaling means based on traffic, it will add and remove servers from load balancer. If more traffic is coming, based on the RPM, servers will be added to the cluster. If the more traffic is coming, more servers will be added. If the traffic is less, then servers will be removed from the cluster. That concept is called auto scaling. Every company who is having more traffic will use this auto scaling concept. What is this auto scaling? If you go for AWS, there is a concept called auto scaling concept, guys. You have a load balancer. For the load balancer, you have 30 servers. But are you sure 30 servers are sufficient on the big billion day? Are you sure? Can you guarantee 30 servers are sufficient on the big billion day? There is no guarantee. When you don't know how much traffic is going to come for your application on the particular day, then you can go for a concept called auto scaling concept. Which concept we can use that? Which concept we can use, guys? We can use a concept called auto scaling concept. Auto scaling. What is the advantage if you go for auto scaling concept? If the more traffic is coming, if based on the incoming traffic, servers will be added. If the traffic is increasing, servers will increase. If the traffic is decreasing, servers will decrease. It is an automatic process. It is called Scalability. Your server, your application will have a scalability. If the traffic is coming, servers will be increased. If the traffic is reduced, servers will be removed. So in the AWS, we have a option called load balancing, and we have a option called auto scaling. Auto scaling. Now, do you understand how this Amazon, Flipkart, Google, LinkedIn, all applications are running? Now, can you understand how all these applications are running now? They are having load balancer with the auto scaling concept. If 1 crore people access the Facebook at a time, still it is responding. If 1 crore people access the Amazon website, still it is responding. If 1 crore people, if 1 million or 1 billion people access the Google, still it is responding. Still it is responding. What is the reason? The reason is load balancing with the auto scaling concept. So practically, I am going to show you this load balancing with the auto scaling concept in the AWS classes. Practically, I am going to show you this load balancing concept with the auto scaling concept. So now do you understand what is load balancing and what is auto scaling? Do you understand what is load balancing and what is auto scaling? Load balancing means distributing the load. Auto scaling will decide how many servers should run for our application. If more traffic is coming, more servers. If less traffic is coming, less number of servers. Yeah. In the real time, every project will have load balancing and few projects will have auto scaling. Any projects which are getting more and more traffic, then they will go for auto scaling concept. In the AWS, we have this auto scaling feature. Is this clear for everybody? Is this clear for everybody? What is the load balancing and what is auto scaling? Fine, guys. Thank you. Thank you. So with this, I'm stopping for today. We will continue in the tomorrow session. And guys, one more thing. Before coming to tomorrow session, all of you can create account in our website. All of you can create an account in our website. From tomorrow, I will give the notes in the website. Before coming to tomorrow session, all of you, please create your account in the website. Please create your account in the website. Okay? So in the tomorrow session, I will tell you how to access the class notes from our website. In the tomorrow session, I will tell you how to access the class notes in the website. Thank you, guys. I will see you in the tomorrow session. Bye-bye. Good night.